Our troops are being abused. God bless our troops. I was never in the military. But can you imagine being a young conservative in the military, starting your career out, or an officer just trying to do their work? They've put in the time and the effort and the risk, and they're far along in their career, and they run into this buzzsaw of CRT propaganda and intimidation. The Pentagon is full on CRT. Critical race theory, obviously, the CRT is the shorthand for critical race theory, which is another shorthand for repackaged Marxism. Substitute class for race, and a lot of these leftist identity-related theories are Marxist, and they essentially presume that anyone who disagrees with the radical left's view of the world is to be punished, monitored, suppressed. And the fact that anyone disagrees with them and institutionally that those views are respected is a sign that the institution is corrupted and needs to be overturned. So it's a revolutionary analysis of America. We're institutionally racist, and that racism must be drummed out, and no rules barred, no holds barred, and going after folks. And that includes spying on the social media posts of troops for no good reason. And then they're not looking at social media posts to make sure they're not terrorists or advocating for some sort of criminal activity, or they're working for a foreign group or something. That's not why they're looking at it. They're looking at it to pursue the January 6th left-wing agenda, which is to target anyone critical of the Biden administration or left-wing policies as being someone who's a national security risk and a terrorist. So that's why the Biden Defense Department announced, it's not why they say it, but it's why I think they said it, this countering violent extremism program. It's not even violent extremism. It's called the Insider Threat Program. Our military used to be worried about foreign threats. And we were told that the idea that the military would target domestic threats was an anathema to our constitutional system. Not unless you're the left, though. You use the military for any reason you want. Of course, those of us who understand the left, the totalitarian instinct of the left. That's perfectly in line with their views. This is what the press secretary said, John Kirby, who I think is an Obama, shouldn't say holdover, because I'm sure his buddies were there at the Defense Department for a few years after he left the Obama administration, but I think he's an old Obama guy. He's back under Biden. So Kirby says part of the Insider Threat Program is to take a look at social media activity out there so that we can be as informed as possible. There is, again, the insider threat. Right now, when there's a concern about the potential of the threat coming from the inside, who has that concern? Do you have that concern? I don't have that concern. What they have a concern about is there are Americans who don't believe the elections were administered in a fair way, and they want to attack them. There are Americans who reject Joe Biden's extremist policies. They want to attack them. And by calling them terrorists, it's one way to push back, demoralize, and suppress your opposition. And what they're trying to do is target people who have conservative views in the military and suggesting they're all terrorists. And they were asked about what was the document behind this insider threat analysis. So we asked. And of course, they didn't make it public. So we're asked for it, and we didn't get it. There's a memorandum, immediate actions to counter extremism in the department. Again, that includes monitoring social media, pursuit of scalable and cost-effective capability to screen publicly available electronic information in accessions, and continuous vetting for national security positions. And as I say in the release, no one's being fooled. The Biden Pentagon is abusing its authority to spy on the social media posts of troops who espouse conservative views. That the Pentagon is hiding documents. Of course, we asked for documents about this scheme, and we've been rejected. They haven't responded. That the Pentagon is hiding documents about this Big Brother program is obviously it's a violation of law, and it's doubly concerning. So not only is the program concerning, their cover-up of it further sows doubts in the legality and appropriateness of what they're doing. So these are terrible times for our country. Our military leadership is woke, and I don't use that as a compliment. And our troops are being abused. But God bless our troops. I was never in the military. But can you imagine being a young conservative in the military, starting your career out, or an officer just trying to do their work? You know, they've put in the time and the effort and the risk, and they're far along in their career, and they run into this buzzsaw of CRT propaganda and intimidation. I mean, I talked about the fact we're suing over West Point's propaganda program that they're requiring cadets to do, the Army's rising leadership. And who's taking control of this? Who's taking this on as an issue? Not Republicans in Congress. You had the leadership, the Republican leadership of the Senate, by and large, vote for an infrastructure bill that espoused critical race theory philosophy. It didn't say critical race theory, but it used the language, promoted discriminatory programs, which is based on critical race theory. They think you can discriminate by race. They don't believe in the American way, that people be treated according to their merit. And this was supported by the Republican leadership of the Senate. Mitch McConnell, every top leader of the Senate. I think 19 Republicans? You can look it up. Besides the monstrous expense and the fact that the country is practically speaking bankrupt, that's another issue. But it was the ideology that this money is being used to advance this radical, as I say, repackaged Marxism, communism, whatever you want to call it. But it's that. I mean, this isn't liberalism. This is Marxism and communism. And it's leading to spying on, and I love how they say the public social media posts. Well, the government can't spy on you even looking at public information, not if they're creating a record and a file on it. I mean, we've highlighted that issue, and you have all these left-wing lawyers and such online say, well, they can look at this. It's stupid to say they can't look at that. Well, that's just ignorance. That's just ignorance. So now they're going to be creating files, it looks like, on troops and their political beliefs. I hope we have an army. Of course, after and of course, this is the goal of the left, which is to make the army unappealing to those who would be effective fighters in defense of the country, and turn it into a political arm of enforcement. Just what they want to do with the police. They're not anti-police. They're not anti-military. They don't want to use the police for the reasons that regular Americans do, to defend the rule of law, in the case of the military, to defend the country. They see individuals who work for the government, no matter what capacity, as political tools to be used for whatever reason they want, including the suppression of the citizenry. I mean, they prefer to have the police be commissars, walking around, making sure you're wearing your mask and things like that. And that's something they're more comfortable with rather than protecting life and limb as police traditionally are supposed to be doing. But I digress. I digress.
Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch all the latest news from Judicial Watch.